Alrighty, so before we got three games that's going to be happening tonight in the CONCACAF Champions Cup involving MLS team, let's do a quick news of the week episode. So we got a couple of signings that happened. One of them happened today. But starting off with the Columbus Crew have signed midfielder Armar Sadic off of free agency. So, this is a guy that's been kind of bounced around the league. Has been with clubs like Atlanta, Nashville, Montreal, and so forth. And he's more of just kind of a depth keys for your respective team, and I think that's kind of what the Columbus Crew is looking for in terms of adding some more depth in terms of the midfield spot. Now, speaking of midfielder, FC Dallas have signed Brazilian midfielder, and I think it's Kayik, if that's how you pronounce. Obviously, I'll get better pronunciation once the broadcaster uh start to pronounce his name during games. But they of course signed this guy from Gremio. From what I heard, he seems to be a very talented player and a player that they use the U22 initiative spot to get him. It's kind of interesting that in this early part of the season, Dallas has been pretty good when it comes to the attacking end. The defense has been a problem for this team, and signing a midfielder like that and more of an attacking midfielder, I don't know if that's gonna solve the issue in terms of the defensive problem that they have early in the season. And we kind of had a feeling that this was going to be the case with the way that, this off season they decided to kind of dismantle the back line a little bit and haven't really quite replaced them with anyone. And especially, with the style that Peter Kroll play, more of an attacking style, we're going to concede more goals and have these kind of crazy games like we seen yet in the last game when they finished 3-3 in the game against the Colorado Rapids. But there's no doubt that they're gonna add more some attacking talent. Maybe they'll play some more entertaining kind of soccer, which is something that Dallas fans wanted to see consider. I'm pretty sure they rather watch their team play some entertaining soccer than whatever the hell Nico Estevez has been putting with this team for the past couple of years. Now, the Vancouver Whitecaps, they're rumored to interest to sign Austrian Vienna midfielder Dominic Fitz. Now, this is a guy that most likely is going to replace Stuart Armstrong. So they've been looking for a Stuart Armstrong replacement for the past couple of months, or I would say just the past couple of weeks after shockingly Stuart Armstrong decided not to stay with this Whitecaps team and decided to go back to England. And we'll see how this signing is going to be. I haven't heard too much about this guy or whether or not if he's the right profile for this Whitecaps team. But there's no doubt the Whitecaps have got to a great start to the season and a very surprising start to the season because, again, for a team that I predicted to finish dead last in the standing and a team that has a lot of question hanging this season, they definitely have answered the question in a great way under Jasper Sorensen early this season. Now, moving on in terms of next news. So, Inter Miami defender Noah Allen has filed a one-time switch to the Greek national team, and it's unfortunate too because I think he would worked out for the U.S. national team, especially in the full back position, which is a position that the U.S. at times had problem when it comes to the depth. I thought with the projectile that Noah Allen has already done doing his time with Inter Miami, he would have definitely fit in with the U.S. national team. But apparently, I think maybe because he's not getting the opportunity that he gets, he decided to join to a country that I think his father is Greek, so that's why he's eligible to join the Greek national team. But nevertheless, another example of the U.S. maybe regretting seeing some of the better player in not just in MLS, but some of the prospect that they have that could represent the U.S. men's national team and never really gave them a chance. And yeah, those kind of players they might regret in terms of letting. And I think this is another example of it. And then CONCACAF has announced that they have cleared Sergei Palence of any wrongdoing in terms an investigation that they look in terms of a discriminatory action that he had in that game against the Colorado Rapids. So if you remember, we saw around like the 85th minute mark, the game kind of stopped for a bit because they want to see whether or not if Sergei Palencia must have said something of a derogatory kind of thing toward Chihuahua Awazium. They investigated for a bit, but it seems like that it was a nothing burger after that. And of course, I think after all this, it's hard to say that if this decision is the right one or not. I mean, I would say it might be the right decision because they did look at it closely to see if there's anything there to really prove that Sergei Palencia was in the wrong in terms of committing a discriminatory action toward so Wazium, and they said no. So I guess both parties would just move on from this. And then speaking of disciplinary action, so the disciplinary committee they have fined Jordi Alba and also suspended either Ocampo for a game. So Jordi Alba, of course, he's become the latest Inter Miami player that violates the league policy when it comes to hands to the face. I mean, this is something that it actually has happened a lot so far with Inter Miami, and I think there's no doubt that the league is going to try to be a little bit harsher with the penalty, especially with the way that Inter Miami has the history of doing this. And then in terms of the Eder Ocampo situation, apparently it was a endanger of the safety of a player. That was the reason why he got suspended for a game. Originally, he got a yellow card in terms of that action, but now it seems like it's upgraded to a red card. So yeah, a bit of a miss for this Vancouver Whitecaps team. Consider they already do not have Attic Booby for next games, and they're gonna have to find a replacement for him besides Eddie Ocampo. And then San Diego FC, they have released a statement when it comes to that name redacted chant that we heard in the home opener. And again, as I said before in the review, I don't think that really represent in terms of the fan base of San Diego. I mean, I know it was kind of embarrassing to see that happen, and it really was kind of a sour note in terms of historic night that happened at Snapdragon Stadium. But there's no doubt that they are definitely saying the right words when it comes to trying and that chant, even the head coach and the GM have said the right words that they are going to take anything and everything to stop the chant. And I think it's going to take a bit. I mean, I know the support group have basically released a strong message that they are not, if they hear anybody yell that chant in their supporter group, they're going to immediately ban them from from uh, ever being in the supporter group or even going to any future San Diego FC game. But there's no doubt that we've seen this before, where it takes a while for that specific name redacted chant to finally come to an end. I mean, we kind of heard that a little bit in terms of some of the newer team, especially some of those teams that has a very Hispanic kind of fan base, like what San Diego FC has had. And there's no doubt that they're going to try their best to end that. I think it will eventually end. I remember going back to a couple of years when the Quakes play against the Galaxy. I remember in one of the Cali Clasico, I heard that chant that was ring down. The Quakes immediately released a statement about that chant being banned. And next thing you know, we never heard that chant being used in Quakes game or even in Cali Class future Cali Clasico as well. So there's no doubt that I think San Diego is going to try their best to crack it down, and especially I'm pretty sure the security there is going to crack down even more the fact that yeah, if they do find people saying that chant, they are immediately going to move them from the stadium. And then, of course, FIFA has announced that they will indeed have a halftime show for the 2026 World Cup final, and this is not a big surprise. I mean, we kind of seen with the way that it's not just FIFA the one that has started to create a more entertainment toward like the music industry. We see this even in the Champions League as well. I feel like for most of the Champions League final that we seen in recent year in the beginning, it used to be in the Champions League final in terms of the intro. They have like a performance about the city itself. Nowadays, it's not really about that anymore. It's just about inviting famous artists to perform in the intro. Now, obviously, there's been a lot of criticism in terms of that, and I can understand because a lot of people are criticizing the fact that FIFA is clearly trying to Americanize this game. I mean, the halftime show, while it's definitely a very American thing, especially a tradition that we see in the Super Bowl every single year. That should not be the case, even in big games like that. And especially the other big problem with having a halftime show, and as we saw this in Copa America final as well, where they had a halftime show with Shakira, and that delayed the start of the second half by like 10 minutes. The halftime time was like 25 minutes, and that is just like that's a long time for a lot of these players that are used to basically going to halftime for 15 minutes before they get ready to start the second half. So there's no doubt that I think this is going to be the case again, and that's going to frustrate a lot of fans and even coaches because now they have to sit in the locker room for longer just because they want to have this halftime show to not only entertain fans but also they want the moolah that is part of the halftime show as well. And then lastly, Ty Baribo, he wins the Player of the Week this week. Not surprising. I mean, he scored a hat trick this week. Now bring his goal total to 5 goals, which leads the league. I mean, I knew that Ty Baribo was going to score a lot of goals this season. I definitely did not expect the start that he has this season, and he's already potentially could be in the Golden Boot conversation because pretty much everybody else haven't really come anywhere close to scoring 3 goals. And here's Ty Baribo, just 2 weeks in the season, he's already at the top of the Golden Boot with 5 goals, and tells me he's not done this season. He's going to score many more goals for the Union, and he's going to prove at least in these first 2 weeks that dry spell that he had during the end of the year with the Union was not not a fluke, and that incredible run of form that he had bursting out of the sea in the second half of the season was not a fluke whatsoever. He is a legitimately goal scorer and a guy that coincidentally replaced Julian Carranza for that Union spot in terms of that number 9 spot for this Union team. But there you have it. That is pretty much it for this news of the week episode. So again, not really much news to talk about because as we get into the beginning of the season, we're not going to see as much signings, but more news that is going to be related, kind of within the league itself, especially with suspension and also injuries report to talk about. But either way, hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you do, make sure to like, smash the subscribe button. Let me know in the comments below what do you think of these news, and if there's any news I didn't mention here on the board, let me know in the comments below as always. But until then, hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you do, make sure to like, smash the subscribe button, and yeah, I of course will see you guys next time.